A couple of weeks ago, the British Museum announced that many of its artifacts had been stolen, and it gave me a thought. Why not make a video about whether museums are actually good? The British Museum in particular has had a lot of controversy because it is considered a museum that has stolen many artifacts from around the world from different cultures. But does it make it okay that specimens have actually been stolen from the museum? Of course not. But this is a huge debate, and I feel like it's something that I really want to go into because there's all sorts of museums. For that reason, this video isn't going to apply for our museums. This one will consider the museums that have specimens and collections that are actually usually hidden away from the public. Yeah, that's right. That's usually why I'm in two minds about museums. A lot of the stuff that you see that's actually on public display is a tiny amount of what a museum owns. A lot of it is underground or in a basement, hidden away, ideally to protect it, although clearly for the British Museum, it didn't go quite so well. When I was a teenager, I might have been a little bit naive, and I remember messaging the Natural History Museum in London about seeing their fossil collections, in particular seeing the real fossil of this. This is a replica of the famous baryonyx claw, but I received an email saying, sorry, we don't do public visits. And that's something to remember, that unfortunately, we can't always see the specimens or artifacts that we would really like to see. Now, a lot of museums are actually making a good attempt of digitization and actually making their collections available online. However, it's not always the same feeling as being able to hold or see a real specimen in real life. So there we have it. Museums do try to do a good job at keeping specimens safe and secure, but unfortunately that could mean that we just don't have access to them. So when you watch an Indiana Jones movie, just bear that in mind. When you hear him say that belongs in a museum, yeah, sure, it can be in a museum, but it doesn't necessarily mean everyone's going to be able to see that amazing thing. So, the answer to the question, are museums good? For the most part, yes. They try to do a good job at keeping things secure and safe and available for research, and are even trying to become modern in allowing people the access of specimens through online services. Of course, that doesn't necessarily mean it's the same as being able to see something for real. Now, with the situation that's happened at the British Museum, yeah, that is quite a big issue, and just goes to show that even though museums do their best to try and be secure, it doesn't always work, but for the most part they are the best place for specimens. So this was a huge breach and is clearly something that needs to be sorted out so that it doesn't happen again in the future. Still, there are a lot of people out there that won't have a lot of sympathy for the British Museum because they consider a lot of the artifacts that it owns to be stolen. And even though the British Museum will say that legally they own all their collections because they were acquired through legal means at the time they were acquired, it doesn't necessarily mean that in the modern age a lot of people are going to respect that. However, a lot of criticism could be drawn from people by saying, hey, these specimens today should be where they are from and should be sent back. So it's a big debate, and it will certainly keep head scratching for a long time. But we will see what happens with all these specimens over time and whether they do get sent back to their native home or culture. If you have any thoughts on whether museums are good or bad, or anything to do with the topics brought into this video, please write in the comments and I look forward to reading them. And thank you so much for watching this video.